We're live, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another phenomenal episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He is the tranquil dart of Ringside Society, Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, he asks for a cheap burrito because he loves the combination of chicken and beef. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second corner we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching. Where's he going next? Nobody knows. Three continents down, three more to go. No cap, straight facts, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. But it's not about us. You see, we actually have a man who is actually doing great things in the world of professional wrestling. And if any of our viewers and listeners are actually pro wrestlers, heck, if you're a promoter or a manager, you might want to hit this guy up because he'll be very beneficial to what you do in professional wrestling. He has actually worked with WXW. That's right. They're actually ran by the Anoa'i family, which is famous for wrestlers such as Yokozuna, Rikishi, the Usos, everybody's favorite tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and several other people. And he's actually the owner of River Bear Studios. He's a drummer. He's a music producer. Everybody, welcome to the show, Isra Batista.
Woo! Thank you, everybody, for having me on the show.
Isra, thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule to do this for us. We've actually had We've actually been looking to have. It's been a long time since we've actually had an entrance theme engineer on our show. We don't know many of them outside of the ones that actually do the music for WWE, and
There's
that's
very
pretty much
few.
it.
There's very few of us because it's pretty tough to get into the circle of the boys. They don't let it. They don't let everybody, go in there and work with them. So it kind of takes. It's hard for an engineer that actually love wrestling to get into that circle.
Yeah, I noticed it because I only know like probably I could probably count on like one hand, maybe two, the amount of ones that I know, the ones that I know of. I mean, you're now a new one that I know, but everybody knows. Is it Jim? Is it Jim Johnston?
Jim Johnston, that's
Oh,
daddy right there.
yeah, pretty much. The father of them all. We've had a C Flow dollar sign.
CFO dollar
Um,
sign.
and then there's whoever's doing. I forgot whoever's doing whatever for WWE right now, and that's pretty much it. Like
Yeah,
I don't know too many others, and independently outside of those three, it's only now you. And then there was a guy we had on before, straight from Canada. You may have heard of him, you may not have heard of him, but a
I've
guy by
heard
the
of.
name of Squirty LaFlow.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's the only one that he was our first interesting engineer that we had on here. So, for those of y'all wondering, well, yo, Remy, what's up with why y'all got why are you and Rob? Why do you and Rob have the entrance team engineers? Like, how do they matter? Why do they matter? Like, the wrestling, I understand the referees, I understand the promoters, the managers, et cetera, but where does an entrance theme engineer, fit in? Well, here's what I'm gonna tell you guys right now. Those of you watching and listening, I want you to actually, if you're recording, make sure you record good. If you have if you have like a pen and piece of paper, write this down. Make sure you remember this exact part because I'm going to explain to you why we are actually interviewing entrance team engineers and why they actually matter. Because picture this: picture a Hulk Hogan coming to the ring, just doing this, pointing to his opponent, ripping off his shirt, and doing the whole thing where he listens to the crowd, but there's no real American playing.
Yep.
Picture Ultimate Warrior or the Rockers, one of my all-time favorite tag teams, running to the ring, no music. Picture that. The Rock going to his ring and just giving you the eyebrow, but there's no know your role playing. Stone Cold Steve Austin going to the ring, showing the middle finger, no glass shattering. What I'm getting at is that the entrance team engineers, the men and women that compose those tracks for your favorite wrestler that goes to the ring, they are the ones that bring the energy, that help bring the energy up. Because if it wasn't for them, people would just be coming out to either no music at all or copyrighted music, which they could only use for a limited amount. And we're gonna touch on that real soon, if it's okay with you, Ezra. Right after we get to the meat and potatoes of our whole spiel with your backstory and everything. If you don't mind sharing that, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that whole why it is important to hit up an entrance theme engineer and invest in music. So before we get into, so that's just a little reason as to why we interview the entrance theme engineers as well too, because they matter. They're the ones that bring the energy in the crowd. They're the ones that are responsible for bringing you those memorable theme songs and so on. So with that being said, uh, Israel, I gotta ask, I normally ask 99% of our guests that are on the show, how did it start for you? What made you become a fan of professional wrestling?
Yeah. I think like I don't have a lot of memories like of my childhood, like growing up. I had a pretty normal childhood, but then I do remember. I think I was like 3 years old, and I saw. I grew up in Puerto Rico, so I
Okay.
grew up. I grew up watching very very violent wrestling. Everything
Oh,
was yeah, everything was like extremely bloody, extremely hardcore, and it's funny because they would play it after like the kids cartoon. Here you go, some wrestling, and it's just a guy with barbed wire in their forehead and stuff like that. Um, but at the same time, I was also watching because I loved the Puerto Rican wrestling. I started playing video games, and at that time there was I think WWF Raw, the Super Nintendo game,
mhm.
and I played it and I loved it, and then I went to a video store and just watching the video cassette like the pay per views, just the WCW, WWE, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, like how they looked back in the day. It was just to me like I this is just incredible, and I remember just that was just my passion, wrestling. When I was like 10 years old, I was in the first time The Undertaker came to Puerto Rico. I think I was like 10 years old. And oh my God, to me, he was like 10 feet tall, the whole music, the whole scenario, and I just I just loved it. I continued watching it, growing up, being bullied by like almost every one of us, people making fun of us. Oh, that's fake. That's this, that. I still loved it. Didn't care. And I stopped watching wrestling about 2008. That's when they were put. It was basically they were just John Cena all the time. Um, I didn't have money to get cable, so I didn't watch TNA. And then 2014, I saw this thing called Lucha Underground, and oh man, that made me open my eyes. Like, wait, there's indie wrestling, that is as good. So I started going to the MLW shows where I saw a bunch of the Lucha Underground guys, and I started getting connected, with a lot of them. And I also happened to go to Full Sail where NXT was starting out. So I also got connected with a couple of wrestlers from NXT. I worked I helped out with the like coiling cables and stuff like that. So yeah, wrestling for me has been like it's like ups and down. Like I started loving it, then I kind of hated it, then I loved it again, and now I'm in a position that I'm in love more with the production side of things. Like the how everything is produced, the storylines, the music. The music. If I remember, like just listening to, I think the first music that I liked, that was like, oh my god, this song. It was definitely the Hulk Hogan song. Like that song, like when it came in, um, he started posting, and then when Macho Man came with his, it was just incredible. It was just like that '80s wrestling time. It was just very musical. It was more musical because like the '60s and the '70s, also they were doing the transition. You still had wrestlers coming in like Andre and like Jerry Lawler and stuff like that, just coming in to the guy, that guy, the microphone. And then like in the 80s, that's when like everybody needed to have like a cool music, coming around. So I was in love with all that, those 80s. Like, listen to how it was built, like the composition. They were custom tailored for every character, and to me that's like awesome. Like that's like a whole new world.
Yeah. 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 Back in the 80s, yeah, wrestling was definitely a different vibe. It was definitely for the kids. Well, more particularly WWE. When you look at it, it was definitely for the kids. Um, the way it was actually structured and so on, and yeah, a lot of memorable. And I'm sure you being a musician, a drummer, a music producer, and also a wrestling fan. On top of all that, you could definitely remember some of the most memorable tracks um, produced by WB and so on. So I gotta ask you, man, like, what were some of your favorites that Jim Johnston or even even whoever else, throughout the 80s and 90s, even I guess you could add in the 2000s. But what were some of the most memorable ones you enjoy listening to as a kid growing up? Like some of the most memorable tracks that you would even still play to this day?
Hulk Hogan. Um, I would say the Ultimate Warrior. Come on, like even though I'm not a fan of him as a wrestler, his music was so energetic that it didn't matter. So it was awesome. The Iron Sheik's music, it's so evil and so like, right there in your face. The Rockers music was cool. Um, the 90s, like going more to the 90s, Shawn Michaels' song. I mean, even the one way they did with Cherry,
Yeah.
I loved it. It was just awesome. Um, I loved the first Doink the Clown sound, like the first one,
Oh, okay. The
because
evil
it went
one.
the evil one, because it went straight up to like you're like, oh my god, that's creepy. Mankind's music. Actually, Mankind's music, I liked it because the first when he entered, he would use his original one, and when he won at the end, he would use another one. He had a victory song, two different ones.
Okay.
Um, the Undertaker. I mean, Undertaker. That's the most iconic one. Like that one is like, imagine being in the ring and having that thing, dong. Um, Let me see what else. I mean, The Rock, Stone Cold. I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, that's corny. That's too generic." But they were just very good songs that matched the character so well. Even like what do you call for example, like the APA, like
Right.
the when when the APA came and you listen to that music, like the John da da da, and they were not running, they were like speed walking. They were gonna kick your butt. Like there was gonna be a violence. There's gonna be a lot of clotheslines, power bombs, spine busters, and you were gonna get destroyed. Oh, the Legion of Doom. They use I think they use like their own version of Iron Man. I thought that was cool because they started with
Oh,
that
back
version.
in back in the NWA, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I remember that.
It was a slower version or something, and I think
Mm.
it was so intimidating too, seeing those weak guys just going there, and so yeah, those are my favorite ones. Not a fan. I mean, I like the new stuff. I think the new Roman Reigns is cool. The Shinsuke Nakamura is cool. The one Walter uses, it's awesome. Um, Edge, I love Edge. His music was very very cool. And
Which
there's a
one though?
ooh
Because
um
I could tell you right now, my all-time favorite Edge music entrance theme was the one that was it red groovy red. What was the one by Rob Zombie that says that's never gonna stop me, but it's a remix that was specifically for Edge.
I thought it was
That
cool.
was my all-time favorite one.
I think that was cool. I think that was cool because I feel like it fit the character more. But then it kind of um the latest one, like the one that everybody identifies with Edge, the one that goes da na na da
Yeah,
na na, that one everybody just, I mean, that song is beautiful. Same with Randy Orton, like just that predatory sound, like it's so important. Like that's what I'm not a fan of CFO that much. No offense to people who love them. But I don't like their music that much because it just felt like WWE told them, hey, just make 100 songs and we're just gonna put it in whoever, and you listen to all those songs and they just kind of like they fit the character, but they also fit like 20 more characters. Like listen to the previous one that Roman Reigns had. You can put that same song on Seth Rollins or on any other wrestler, and it'll work because it's a generic song. I enjoy more of a like the songs that they would cater to the wrestler. Like you listen to that song, and you're like, oof, that's that is that wrestler. It's supposed to be that wrestler. Like imagine like Goldberg's music. Like when you hear that music, you're like, oof, there's a big guy coming through that door. What's gonna happen? So
yeah.
that's kind of like the way that we what I like about
Or
music.
like or like Diesel when he had his I'm not talking Kevin, I'm talking about 1994, 1995
The trucker one, yeah.
Diesel, the trucker one. You could tell that he was coming through. He was big, he was lumbering. You got to get out of your way, or you're gonna get steamrolled over. Yeah, yeah. Music like that was definitely like the music back then was definitely more identifiable as compared to like how things are now.
Even with you remember this wrestler Earthquake?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Earthquake, it was actually like an earthquake sound. Like the whole thing went like you're like, oh my god. Even Goldust. Like I think Goldust music was perfect. Such an underrated character. Goldust was incredible.
Oh yeah, definitely. So tell me, man, like how did you? So now you're a fan. You're going to you're going to your favorite shows. You're supporting your favorites and whatnot. How did you get into the music aspect and everything, like, and getting into making entrance themes and so on? Because you have a very impressive resume. Now you're not just an entrance theme engineer. You work for one of the most popular promotions in the whole of North America, WXW, which is ran by the Anawai family, the Samoan dynasty. How did all that come to play for you?
Well, the first thing was like, so I spent a little time in the military, and I got out of the military and I moved to Florida,
Oh, thank you
and
for serving.
and
Navy
then
veteran
like
over here, man.
there we go, we serving, and then when I was like, I was started here, I built my studio, Riverbed Studio, which I no longer own. Um,
Okay.
I had to close it down about a year ago because the wrestling stuff was making me more money than the studio. Um, so basically, what started was I went to this local company in Florida. They're actually very very good. They actually having shows every year. It's called NGCW, and I met this guy. His name was Apollo Junior. He was the son of a Puerto Rican wrestler called Apollo, and he introduced me to Vertigo de Cure Rivera, who is
I know
actually
him.
Alpha's son-in-law.
Son-in-law.
Yeah. So Vertigo, I saw him and I fell in love with the character. He's like this not so tall, but chunky, like strong type of guy, and it reminded me a lot of Taz. Like the suplex machine and stuff like that. And he told me, "Hey, you should go to one of my shows." And I started going to the WXW shows, and I met everybody over there. And I was like, you know what? I want to make you a song. So I made him a song, which is on the website, and it just worked for him so much. Like He's a violent character, comes in running. He comes like he's a very intense character, and the music sounds intense. So he can use any character that he wants. He can be like a cyborg. He can be a villain. Like he can be a heel. He can be a baby face. And it worked out for him because that's his style. So then he told me, "Hey, you should meet this girl." And then he introduced me to I don't know what's her name in the WoW show, Penelope Pink. Her name is Marina Tucker.
I've heard of her. Yeah.
So Marina told me, "Hey, I want my character is this bitchy Southern girl who likes pink and hates every other girl." And I was like, "I gotcha." So I made a song that you hear and you're like, "Oh, I hate this person already," just by listening to the music. And then from there on, a lot of people started calling me, "Hey, I want your music. I want your music." So the time that I spent making music for wrestlers increased, and the time that I spent making music for artists decreased because the wrestling stuff not only was more fun, but it's also easier to work with wrestlers. Wrestlers don't care if the mix is like this or like that. All they want is something that represents them. And working with, and then because of that also I had the opportunity for like 2 years to work with WXW as a sound guy. And oh man, like I learned so much. I met so many like superstars. Like my first day on the job, I was like sitting down doing the audio for everybody, and this giant hand came to me. He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Freaking Haku. And I'm here like, oh. I'm here like, oh. Hi, sir.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, okay, yes, sir, whatever you say, you know. So I met Haku. Like a week later, then I met Mercedes Martinez because she was also from there. Met a bunch of NXT because NXT will go to WXW to scout people.
Right.
People don't know that, but the WWE they go to indie shows and they scout people. Like that's why I always say, like, if you're an indie wrestler, take it seriously because you might see a show with only 10 people. Maybe one of those 10 people, it's a WWE scout. And yeah, so I met Alpha, which is they treated me like family over there. I met all the Samoans. You can imagine, which there's so many. I don't know how, like, I don't know why, but they're like 100 Samoans. Like, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, this guy's like cousins with The Rock," and you're like, "Who's that guy?" I don't know. And they're, "Oh, yeah, he's son of this guy, he's son of that guy," and I'm like, "What?" But yeah, it was just incredible, intense, and now I'm working with people from everywhere, Mexico. I'm already crossing the bridge with Japan, trying to get there. It's a different concept because Japan have different copyright rules than we have here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have to learn a little bit more about it. But now, like in Florida, I got a couple of people. I got people in like all over the US. They're using my music. Puerto Rico, it's one of my hottest territories to work with. There's a lot of Puerto Rican wrestlers that are using my music as well. My music was in Telemundo, so that helped as well. I was working with the Colognes, which is Epico and Primo Colon.
Right.
I was working with them as well. So yeah, it's been fun, man. It's growing. Now I'm about to open a new studio that's mostly going to be dedicated for wrestling. So hopefully it grows a little bit more soon as soon as I open it up. But that's the next step.
Honestly, the way you're doing this right now, you are definitely gonna be a very busy man. Um, you're definitely on your way, man. The fact that you're actually crossing the bridge to Mexico, you got wrestlers in your own home country of Puerto Rico, using your songs, and you got Japan, which is a huge deal because
That's
there's a huge
that's
market
cool.
over there.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if you've ever been there before, but um, if you haven't, take it when you get over there. Go there with a smile. Trust me, you will enjoy that place. People are very courteous. The food is amazing, and it's just a great. I did 3 years over there. I was lucky. My first duty station when I was in the Navy. That was my first. That was my first
Nice.
duty station. It was Sasebo, Japan, in the Nagasaki Prefecture. And if you ever go to Sasebo, you got to make sure you got to have. You cannot leave Sasebo without having a Sasebo burger. It is unlike any other thing. You will enjoy it.
Nice.
But I had great memories there. And if you ever go over there, definitely take it in. Got to check out the New Japan Pro Wrestling store, and also you got to check out the Ribera Steakhouse. I don't know if they'll give you a jacket. I think they should because I mean you help the wrestling industry a lot. But I don't know if you heard of it, but it's like an unofficial or maybe official, unofficial rite of passage of
Oh,
sorts. Where if you're a wrestler, if you're in the industry, you got to go over there and you go over there and you get a jacket from Ribera. They give it to you free if you're a wrestler. Hulk Hogan's done it. John Cena's done it. I know several wrestlers that have actually gone over there and gotten their jackets. So who knows? Maybe they'll make an exception and get one for you. So I think they should, though. I really think they should. I would if it were me. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that'll be cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to because my goal, I mean, right now WWE, they have a really good production team.
right.
Since they hire, they ended up cutting ties with CFO money, and now they have a full production team. It's like a small label that they have, and
Mhm.
that's kind of like my goal, just because of financially, it's incredible. But I want to be before I go there, before I kind of like tell them, hey, I'm ready. I want to travel. I want to have my music everywhere in the world. I want to have my music with all these smaller companies, and then I'll be like, okay, now I'm gonna go with the big dogs.
Awesome. I definitely hope you get that opportunity, that you get to have your music all over the world, not just in Japan, not just in Mexico, but Canada. You get your music over in Europe, Australia, and that'd be great. Because then when Vince and Triple H look at your thing, they'll be like, Vince will be like, well, wow, this guy is amazing. He's not even signing us ERS music all over the world. And then Triple H will be like, yeah, Vince, he's definitely doing his thing.
I
So
like it. That's
you
a good
might
Triple H.
we, we might be better off writing the check for this guy Isra Batista. And we haven't had another Batista in WWE since the other Batista guy. But yeah, it'll be great for business, Vince. He'll
Funny
probably
story.
do that.
Funny story, really quick. When I was in Full Sail, so Full Sail, what they'll do, the WWE will rent their graduation room, and that's where they'll do the shows, the NXT shows. And part of Full Sail, they'll close it down, they'll put like a tarp, and that's where the wrestler will be. So I was in the line to buy some like a coffee, and in front of me there's like three or four wrestlers. At that time, this is like when Johnny Gargano was still like barely new, so he wasn't even like a um he wasn't even like anybody yet. And I mean, at least in WWE. And I remember they called everybody. They were like, everybody, it's time to go in. So everybody goes walking there, and I'm standing in line. And this is William Regal, and he tells me, hey, you, what are you doing? And I was like, all right. So they get me back in, and then they look at me like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm not a wrestler. They kind of, at that time I wasn't this big. I was like, still, fresh out of the military. So I still had my abs and stuff like that. So
Right.
they confused me for one of the wrestlers, because at that time NXT wrestlers were smaller. So everybody was like, "Hey, wrestler?" No. Oh, so I ended up. That was my opportunity inside the roster. So I kind of learned they showed me around with like where the cameras are, like camera one, camera two, follow the red light, stuff like that. And that's what I saw, the music side of it, how they would take care of the music, And that kind of pushed me like, hey, this could be another career for me. So
Wow,
thanks to a mistake that Mr. William Regal did, it kind of took me to that route.
that's 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 definitely a great experience, man. I hope that you get that call, you get that interview, and then you get that great piece of news. Yes, you are now officially a part of WB's, production team. And then that will be like, yeah, wow, another one of our alumni guests did it, man. We just had him on the show. Now he's doing big things. He's about to produce, a track for Dominic Mysterio, or a new track for one of the Usos. Now that they done broke up, so I know there is definitely no way they're gonna be coming out with the same music, or we might see you making music for Zilla Fatu, when he gets signed, and I'm like, oh snap, that's that Isra Batista track right there, man. Yo, my man's doing big things. So I just got two more questions before I turn over to Rob. I know Rob is itching to ask you a couple of questions. So I'm up there in age. I'm 40 years old. I'm not gonna lie about my age. It is what it is. And in my day, I love me some music. And in my day, I've listened to many a great producer. Some like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Dark Child. Rob, I'm not gonna put your business out there, but I know I'm talking about too. But you had Dark Child, you got Danger, you got so many other great men and women that have actually produced many memorable songs. Timbaland, Scott Storch. Who would you say are your top 5 music producer influence? Let me rephrase that. Top 5 influences as a music producer.
Well, like I'm gonna mash up the music producers for wrestling music and also in other things besides wrestling music.
Okay.
I would say my top one when it comes to what he's done, and for a lot of people, this is gonna sound a little cliche. It's Rick Rubin.
That's a big name right there. One half of Def Jam.
Rick Rubin, he did basically everything I grew up with. I can't be like, just ignore that guy. He's incredible. I also have to put up there Mr. What do you call oh my god, Jim Johnston. Jim Johnston, he made so much incredible music. I mean, it was a tough job. He was the only one making the music for the wrestlers from the 80s. Like, he made hundreds and hundreds of songs and made them all work, So that was one. Another one, it's one of my favorite composers of all time. I don't know if have you ever played a game called Final Fantasy VII?
I have.
So the one who made that composition is called Nobuo Uematsu, and he's like, composition-wise, hero, nothing above him. Like, that guy is just incredible. I mean, Mr. Quincy Jones.
Oh yeah. Oh you taking it back? You got an old soul, brother.
And someone. This is a little controversial. I don't want to say. Okay, let's forget about his personal, whatever he's done. Let's forget about what he believes now or whatever's happened. But I did enjoy some of the things that Kanye did as well, as a producer.
Okay. Yeah.
As a producer. Okay, let me make that clear so people.
Yeah.
When I mean, he made a bunch of songs that every time he was involved, they just click. Same like Pharrell Williams. Like, they get in there and it just works. It just stuff that works. Like, you can't take the credit. It's like when people talk about like Chris Benoit. Like, yes, he was, whatever happened was terrible. In ring, he was really good, but
yeah,
that doesn't mean that's two separate things. So
yeah, you can't deny Kanye West's like prowess as a producer. The man was a genius, and he definitely made a lot of great things. he definitely did a lot of great things, and so he definitely did a lot of great things with producing and so on. Like I was very impressed by his first three albums. I was like, yes, those are automatically classics, no doubt.
Mhm.
College Dropout, late registration, and then there was it called Graduation? Was it called Graduation Day?
Yes, I
The
think
one
so.
the one with Stronger and Good Life and yeah, Flashing Lights. Yeah, those first three ones,
Yeah,
classics. I mean, anyway, Heartbeat
yeah.
was great as well too. But
Hmm.
yeah, um, yeah, that's a great when I heard you talking about controversial, I was thinking about this guy. Is it Phil Spector? He was like an
Uh,
old school, I guess '60s R&B rock producer. He was married to one of the I forgot her. Her name was Ronnie Spector. Not the Supremes. It was
oh,
not the
yes, yes, yes.
Supremes. They sang "Baby Be Mine."
Yeah,
Um,
I know who Ronnie Spector is. Like I
and
do. Phil Spector.
yeah,
Yeah,
Ronnie
yeah, Phil
Spector was his
Spector.
wife. I forgot what their and it's probably gonna come back to me once you're
Yeah,
talking to
yeah, yeah,
Rob.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But
He got accused of like murder or something, right? Like something like that.
yeah, I thought you were talking about him.
No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. And then another one is this guy from the 70s and 80s, Frank Zappa. Oof,
Okay.
Frank
Yeah.
Zappa. Like he was someone that I and yeah, those people that take music outside of the box, I'm all for that.
Oh yeah. So my
Yeah.
last question, man. So it's not. It's I mentioned the importance of wrestlers getting hitting you up for theme songs. Um, for not just the pro wrestlers, but for our viewers and listeners out there, for the fans that don't that aren't informed, that not I don't want to say don't know any better, but that aren't informed. How important is it for a pro wrestler regardless of whether they're signed by one of the big companies or they're an independent pro wrestler? How important is it for them to have their own music?
Okay, let me tell you first an example. Let me answer that with an
And I
example
know
from.
I don't mean to cut you. I know the importance, but I just want to hear it from instead of them saying, "Oh, Remy, you're a mark, you don't know nothing." Because wrestling fans could be. I want them to hear it from one of the people that are actually in that field. So
Um,
you can go ahead.
so the first thing was when I was working for WXW, Pops, Alpha Senior, he would tell all the wrestlers, if you're gonna wrestle for me, you have to come here dressed up properly. Okay, and Vertigo, D3, it doesn't matter what car you wear. They came from their car to the dressing room on suits, on shoes. Everybody went there well dressed. Nobody went there in t-shirts or sports. Like you go there and you look amazing as you can. Why? Because that's where you're gonna meet the WWE people. That's when you're gonna meet the AEW people. And if they see you all sloppy, they're gonna think like that. So the same thing is with the music. A lot of people think, oh, I'm just gonna wrestle and WWE is gonna pick me up and they're gonna give me a music. It doesn't work like that. um the first thing is when WWE see you, they see the whole package. They don't see how many moves you can do. They see how good can we sell this guy, you know. And part of selling this is the music, you know. Um if this guy doesn't know how to do a proper entrance with a cool music, why would we spend money on him? Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is when you upload your videos to YouTube or to any of these companies, if you don't have your song copywritten, even if it says no copyrights, whatever, if you don't own your song, whoever made that song or anybody can go ahead and copyright it. And guess what? That royalty or that video will be taken down because YouTube doesn't play and Facebook doesn't play with copyright infringement. That is a violation by if you're making a single dollar using that song, you're violating the copyright infringement. Okay, you can use it, and that's cool. But if you don't own it, you can get in serious problems. Look at it this way. I think it was Randy Orton's, the tattoo artist sued EA Games because they used Randy Orton's tattoo without her permission. And
Right.
apparently, there was a contract that she made with Randy that every time that he will be on a video game, they have to pay her royalties. And she actually ended up winning the lawsuit for that. So
Okay.
getting into the music business side of things, it's really important for the wrestler to have their own music. So going to because here's what happened. Let's say they go to YouTube, they Google copyright free song, they download it, they give it to the guy, whatever. Anybody can go with that song, go to copyright.gov, register that song, and guess what? That song belongs to that person. So
Okay.
every time you use it, any video or everything that you've done, you have to take it down, or you have to pay that person money. And here's what happened: a lot of people still don't know. They don't search for indie wrestling because they don't know that indie wrestling exists. But wait till all it takes is one person to become trendy, and then they hear they see the video taking millions of views with an entrance of their music, and they're not getting paid. They're gonna go after that person. So
Wow.
it's really it's actually it goes from like, oh, you want to have a good music because you want to look cool and everything, to you want to have your own music because you also want to respect the copyright infringement.
Right.
And for example, right now the problem they had with CFO was that CFO, they had like a deal where they could still have some royalties. They didn't knew that streaming was a thing. And if you go right now to CFO's Spotify, they have like a million plays of like the Roman Reigns songs, the Asuka song, and all those songs that they made in like those 10 years. And
Hmm.
they're making a lot of money, and there's nothing WWE can do right now. Nothing. Because that music belongs also to them.
Wow.
So now, now you got to be just very careful with the type of music that you do. A lot of wrestling companies are using uh, uh, music without copyright, and they're getting their videos taken down. A lot of wrestlers, they're getting their videos taken down because, well, they'll put it out there, but they'll mute the sound every time the music play. They'll mute the audio, and that's so amateur. That's like you
Oh
can
yeah.
tell the company has no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. So and it's funny because you mentioned, because I remembered, I know you know this guy, Gabe Sapolsky, one of the most brilliant minds I've ever heard in pro wrestling. He has a space. Well, he had a space. It's on hiatus right now. I really hope he brings it back soon because it's a great place to network, and it's for everybody. Referees, wrestlers, promoters. If you're in what I call if you're one of the spokes in the wheel of pro wrestling that helps it go around, I would definitely you're pretty much in there, and he'll most likely have you go on there, introduce yourself, and so on. But that was one of the things he actually mentioned that I learned from him is it's always great to have your own
Everything, your own
music.
everything.
Yeah, that way nobody can take anything because that's your original thing. Nobody can go and say, "Oh, well, that's mine." No, 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 that's your own. So for all you that are wrestlers out there, even some of you managers that might have your own theme songs, if you're in the pro wrestling industry, make sure I know you're probably saying, "Remy, you're just a fan," but I'm just looking out for y'all. Make sure you invest in yourself, not just in your gear, not just in your health, but also in your music. If you don't want to put yourself to shame, and also the company you work for, because then the company's gonna be like, this person's kind of messing up. We can't hear the fans reaction to you. when you come out when you come out to the ring, if you don't want to embarrass the company you work for, invest in yourself. Hit up, even if it's not somebody in pro wrestling. I mean, obviously, I personally, and I would personally recommend Isra, because he's in the business. I mean, he hasn't done any music for me. I just met the guy, but he's in the business. You have a guy right here, you know. Or if you got a homeboy or homegirl that makes beats on the side, hit him up, and that way, when you go there, you give the promoter or the sound guy, that's in charge there, hey, here's my music. That's where you're gonna play for me when I come out. Boom, there you go. You're good to go. Always, invest in yourself.
Yeah, and again, some people have been able to get away with it like for many years, but there's something that is coming out right now, and which is AI, and the AI cops.
Woo.
Ooh, they're gonna catch a lot of people. They're gonna be like, why are these videos 20 for 50,000 views, and you haven't paid a single dime to the artist in that song? It's gonna
Yep.
come down to that, So I think the and it's and again, it's like any uniform, get your own uniform, get your own entrance, make your own style, get your own music.
Right. Invest in yourselves, guys. Trust me. It will take you, if you care about your future, you invest in it. That's one way. Not just buy the gear. And yes, I know a lot of you have gear and you have, and like I said, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just suggesting. I'm just looking out for y'all. Invest in yourselves, and get yourself some get yourself your own entrance theme as well too. Trust me, if Ringside Society would ever get an entrance theme, would ever get their own theme song, it will be something original. It wouldn't be somebody else's work. It will definitely be something that's original and our own thing. So that's how we do things here. So y'all definitely invest in yourselves. It'll save you a lot of hassle. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. I know Rob has a couple questions. Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks. So what's going on, man? How you doing today, man? How's the day been for you?
I just got out of the pool, so kind of feel
Oh,
good.
word. Oh, that's cool, man. Hey, man, it was kind of warm today, man, but yeah, we got this real bad storm like coming over right now, So yeah, I've been chilling all day. So yeah, if you hear thunder and you see a bunch of flashing lights, and not police or anything, it's just the storm going by, man. So
That's
don't
funny.
worry. Man, like you were saying a second ago, man, that AI stuff, man, I don't ever mess with it. I don't trust it because I don't know if you see behind me, I believe in this movie. You know what I mean? I ain't having, Skynet making my face and putting on some liquid metal thing, send it through time and start killing people and stuff and then having me messing my life up. You know what I mean? I'm over here talking to you. Next thing you know, they're like, oh, man, you's over here tearing up, a police station. I'm like, what are you
Hmm.
talking about? You know what I mean? Nah, we got you on film. I'm like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Yeah, they ain't doing that to me, man. So I don't mess with that AI stuff, man. I'm a little too old for that. So I gotta ask, man, were you always gifted musically, man? Because I see you're like a drummer and all that. Did you play drums in school? Were you in the band, doing the drums and all that good stuff? And or did you
No,
just,
no, I was
pick it up or?
I picked the bass originally when I was like
Mm,
14, and I
mm,
hated the strings, so I kind of
yeah.
picked up the drums and I started playing in heavy metal music bands. And then I went to church, played in church, and then I went to college, played jazz in college, and then I joined the military. So no,
Did
I've
they
always
have?
been in bands and stuff like that, like in rock bands and music like general. Like I was more of a gigging musician rather than like
Mhm.
a pro musician.
Gotcha. Now, when you were in the, when you joined the, Marines, all that Army, whatever, man, were you over there laying down a sick drum beat when everybody was going out there? Remember they used to do that in the Revolutionary War, Civil War stuff. You know, you got the drummer over there, they laying a sick
No,
beat, and you getting the getting them all
no,
hype up, to go out there, man.
I,
Oh,
I
that'd be
got
awesome. They need to bring
I
that
got
back.
intimidated. The U.S. Air Force, they have their marching band,
Mhm.
and man, I got so intimidated. Like like the how do you call it, the yeah, I just got intimidated. You had to read a lot of music, and I was like, no,
Mm.
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wish I would have been that would have been the thing.
Yeah, my buddy, when we were kids, he was never like he never took a music class or whatever, but just one day got a guitar, and then a couple months later he's playing Stairway to Heaven and stuff. We're like, what? What I mean? Then he gets a bass. You know what I mean? So I know how it is trying to play bass. 'Cause he tried to teach me all that stuff. He's like, oh yeah, with bass, I'm like, oh no, there ain't no way, man. I can see. But I know why I've heard them stories of Flea, ripping his callus off, super gluing it back on. So oh man, yeah, I didn't like those strings either, man. I ain't trying to have one of them break and then hit me. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
He's scarred in the face, man.
yeah, I feel you.
That's right. So, man, okay, somebody comes up to you, like they need a song or whatever. What's your process to go through it? Do you have like, ritual you go through? Are
Very,
you
I'm very,
always, or
very
I was gonna
specific.
say, okay, or I was gonna say, are you always, in your mind, you're always laying, got a beat in your mind. You're just,
Mm,
where,
No,
where, where can I put this to or whatever?
no, no. My first thing is I need to see if the person is serious about this.
Hmm.
We have a lot of people that are, for some reason, they're getting into the ring that they should not be getting in the ring.
Hmm.
There's a lot of fans that they wrestle maybe two or three shows and they think they're already the big thing and the rock stars. And I kind of study them who they are first. I'm very pride. I have a lot of pride in who I make the music for.
Hmm.
So if you're not the type of wrestler that I want to be have my music associated with, I'll make it a little hard. Because I feel like you have to earn it. Like
Hmm.
it's to me, you have to show me that you have it. Because some people get in the wrestling industry for the wrong reasons. Like, oh, I want to be a rock star and be a rock and roll and do this and that and whatever. And they've been in it for like 3 4 years and they don't learn anything.
Hmm.
Um, but no, what I do is I check them out. I tell them, can you send me some videos of how you wrestle? I want to see your character. I want to see, uh, are you a baby face? Are you a heel? What do you like more? Do you like more being a baby face? Do you like more being a heel? Because nowadays you tell everybody, hey, what are you? And they're like, oh, I'm whatever. Like they don't like to choose a side. I get it, but sometimes some people make a better like MJF. He's a born
Yeah,
heel.
yeah.
Um, so sometimes some people are better heels than baby faces, and that's fine. And I look at them and I tell them, okay, what's your character going to be? Where do you see your character from here in like 2 or 3 years? Oh, I'm going to be this. I don't know. I want to be like a Red Mysterio, but they're like 6'5", and I'm like, oh, what if we, not so Rey Mysterio, maybe more of a Drew McIntyre, maybe Randy Orton, maybe The Rock, I kind of guide them through. And then they'll be like, you know what, you might be right. I don't want to get hurt. So I tell them, okay, so your character, is it going to be explosive or is it going to be calm? Because you have explosive characters like the Ultimate Warrior who will run
Oh
all the
yeah.
way to the entrance. And then you have Randy Orton who takes his time slowly, you know, and because the first thing is everybody does, can you do something like Disturbed? And I'm like, ugh. Everybody wanna come with Disturb, and I'm like,
Or Tool. I bet you
oh,
get a lot of Tool, don't you?
Tool, Tool, it's either
Yeah.
Tool, Disturb, or Godsmack. That's like those are like the
Okay.
top three. Um,
Oh.
or then like some like super like generic like 90s hip hop, like not
Hmm.
so great hip hop. So I asked him, okay, can you show me your moves? And based on their moves, if they do like a lot of power bombs, a lot of stronger moves,
Hmm.
then I'll make the music a little tougher. If their character is arrogant, I'll make the music more hip hop
Hmm.
style. If the character is flamboyant, I'll make the music more colorful, more EDM stuff, and I'll go depending on the character.
Hmm.
And I also think about, are you gonna like come in as a wrestler or just like gonna wait for like 5 seconds for like an intro and then boom, come in? Like, because
Yeah.
some wrestlers they enjoy the having the suspense of like, ooh, like a 10-minute, 10-second intro and then like coming out. Or do you want the music to just like explode like Stone Cold, where you just like ba 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 ba. Like what do you want? Some of them like explosions at the beginning. Some of them like chants. I've even some of them there's a wrestler called Angel Fashion
Mhm.
who's part of this group called Anexion, and I actually hire a professional rapper to rap in the song, and I was actually
Oh, nice.
screaming in the song,
Oh, nice.
and then he also wanted me his personal song to me for me to sing it, so I ended up singing the song, writing the full song, and so I have to put myself in all those positions.
Oh, that's awesome, man. See, you're over here like Dr. Dre and stuff, man. You know what I mean? Just, getting your beats, laying your own rhymes and stuff, man. Killing. That's awesome, man. I like that.
Yeah, because I play guitars, I play bass, I play keyboards as well,
Hmm.
drums. So I have to take all the different positions.
That's right. So, man, yeah, see, there's always been a dream of mine, man. I always wanted to make a Michael McDonald cover album, man. So, man, if I'm ever in Florida, man, you got some time or whatever, man, I have to get up with you, man, because I think we're not in love anymore. Get that regulate beat going and stuff, man. Yeah, man. Michael McDonald's my guy, man. Got to do him, man.
He's he's actually a referee, Isra. So I mean, if you make music for referees, hey,
Oh,
there
oh,
you go.
Oh
there's
no,
there's
no, no.
actually there's
Yeah,
actually
I go
two
out silent.
referees. There's two referees that I make music for. That I made a music for because one of them is a heel,
Hmm.
and he's one of those referees that people hate him so much that they want another like people to beat them up,
Hmm.
and so he had to get his own song. So every time he comes in, everybody just go boo, because he's a very very heel referee.
That's pretty
You know,
cool, man. Yeah, yeah. I don't have any theme music, man. Yeah, when they're the wrestlers theme music's over, and it's my match, yeah, I just go through. Me, the ring announcer, and I, we just go through silent. Usually people are yelling at me, "Run!" and during the match, like this ref sucks, But then, after the match talk, when everyone are like, "Oh man, great job, you did great," and I'm like, man, I was chanting, this wrestler, so I'm just teasing them, man. I love the fans, man. They're awesome.
that's part of the show. Like you gotta
Yeah,
if people are saying something, it means you're doing a great job. That's why I tell my all my wrestling friends, like if people are talking crap or they're doing something, you're doing great.
that's right. Yeah, I was man a fan. I had a show this past Saturday, and the funny thing, a fan took a picture of me. I'm over there. It was a spot where I'm right in the guy's face. They got an abdominal stretch on. I'm over here. I'm like, yeah, what do you say? What do you say? I'm looking over the timekeeper, but behind it, the guy, he's got some shenanigans going. He's grabbing the rope and stuff. You know what I mean? I can't see it because I'm sitting here. I'm like looking at it like this. You know what I mean? But the way the guy was, he was sitting over there. It took it, man. It looks like I'm like. Oh, looking right at him like, oh, them damn blind refs, you know what I mean? Even wearing glasses, you know what I mean? Oh, man, look at us.
No, I feel
Oh,
you.
man,
I
it's
feel you.
great.
That's
Yeah,
fun
it's
time.
funny, though.
And I think like something that's very rewarding is seeing the wrestlers coming with the music.
Hmm.
Like there is this wrestler from Puerto Rico. His name is Pedro Portillo, and that guy, people whenever he comes in, they sing the White Stripe song, the seven. Oh my God,
Yeah, the Army one.
the army
Yeah,
one. So people will go like, "Oh, Pedro Portillo,"
yeah,
the whole place singing to the song that I made, even though the song, um, it's not the same one. It's a little similar, but it's not the same one. And people just sing to it, and it's just every time that happens, like I want to cry. I'm like, man, like it's such a pride to. I think that's what makes me kind of keep going. Seeing people like me being with my friends in the audience and be like, "That's I made that song. I made that song. I made that song." And that's just so rewarding. You know, my
Oh,
goal,
man,
my
yeah.
my goal will
No, go
be
ahead.
to my goal would be to be the theme song for either SmackDown or Raw.
Ooh,
if
that would be
if
awesome.
that's my that because I don't know if you noticed, most of the bands like those new metal bands in the 2000s, they were
Hmm.
made because of wrestling,
Yeah.
like Disturbed, Godsmack, Linkin Park, all those bands.
Hmm.
They made music for the wrestlers, and people
Yeah,
loved that, so they became famous because of that.
yeah. Especially
People
Limp
think
Bizkit and all when they did
Limp Bizkit,
Undertakers.
the Biscuit, Kid Rock,
Yeah, Kid
Rob
Rock.
Zombie. Yeah, you had a lot, and my goal is to be e- either Raw or SmackDown. That's cool. If
Mhm.
I get a WrestleMania, that will be like
Oh,
crazy.
whew,
But
whew.
hey, a guy can dream, okay?
That's right. Hey, I'm all for it, man. I hope you reach those goals too, man. I'm here. I'm sending positive vibes your way for you to do that, man. I hope that happens, man. That'd be
Thank
awesome.
you, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Entrance themes, they make or break. I mean, because to this day, my mom, her favorite wrestlers, were like Ricky the Dragon, Steamboat, and Junkyard Dog. And to this day, she's like, "Yeah, I love Junkyard Dog. You come out there like doom, doom, doom. Another one bites the dust." You know what I mean? She just be like, "Yeah, da, da,
Yeah.
da, like that." I'm like, "Yeah, that's right."
Just
She
want
remembers
to
the
do the
theme
dance.
song.
You just want to do
Yeah,
the dance.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, my mom, she don't do the dance. You know what I mean? Yeah, because I'll break the phone out or something. Be like, "Yeah, mom, hold on, what are you doing?" She's like, "No, no, I wouldn't do that to her. I wouldn't do it to her." Oh man. So, do you have any, future projects in the works right now? Maybe, something, top secret, maybe we could experience in the next couple
Well,
months or whatever coming up.
right now I'm in the middle of moving out from my previous home, so I'm
Oh,
like
okay.
in a weird transition where I'm like I'm looking for a new place to build my new studio.
Hmm.
But that studio is gonna be catered to wrestling music a lot. So um, there's a character that I work with,
Hmm.
who's if you go to wrestlingsongs.com, it's a little luchador. See if I can give you a picture of the little guy. Um, his name is Roke, and
Hmm.
he's the one in charge of wrestlingsongs.com. And let me see if I can show it. So here,
Does he make wrestling songs as well too?
oh yeah, he makes them better than myself.
If you
This guy.
could, we'd like to talk to him as well too.
I can
Oh,
see it.
man. Oh, yeah, we can't see it because of the
Yeah,
thing,
oh,
the
you can see a
background.
little bit of
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
it. um, yeah, yeah. He's one day he'll be interviewing a couple of wrestlers. The mask. He's working on the mask, and he's working on losing a couple of pounds. So he can be in a more live setting. But yeah, he's gonna be the one that I hired him to be in charge of because the next step is gonna be he's gonna be doing the wrestling music live, like actually like a Facebook live.
Mm,
So everybody's gonna see the process of the construction of the song, you know.
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
But yeah, that's gonna happen with this new studio. Um, he's a heel. He doesn't like people. He's very, but his music it's. I'm gonna hand over my side of the music. I'm gonna be more of a manager. He's gonna be the musician and the executor. You know,
There you go.
But some people say that he kind of looks like me, but I don't think so. He's a nicer and he'll that's why he wears a mask, because some people say that he looks at me and he's ashamed of that. So hopefully people like him too.
That's right. I don't know why I'd be ashamed, man. You know what I mean? Wearing a mask, man. But hey, man. Hey, you gotta do your thing. You know what I mean? That's how. That's what you want to do. I ain't hating. You know what I mean? Yeah. If he wants to wear a mask, I'm all for it, man. So I do gotta ask, before I pass it on to Remy, I always like asking this, is because I'm always stuck watching the same like movies and TV shows all the time, like comfort shows, man. Is there
Mhm.
anything new that you've seen lately, that you're into, you could probably recommend? Like for instance, I just finished The Righteous Gemstones. If you've never seen it, that show is hilarious. It is great. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely check that out.
I think one show that is musically really interesting. It's a cartoon show. Um, oh my god, I forgot its name, but I think the music that they did on that whole series,
Mhm.
it was like local. Like it was actually the writers. They actually are musicians as well.
Oh wow.
Um, Oh my God. What's his name? What do you call oh my God, is this Cartoon Network show? This little chubby guy with has like a belly button. He has like a diamond in his belly button.
Oh, I think I can't remember the name either, man.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
it's been so long.
God,
I party too much.
Steven Universe. Steven Universe.
Okay, yeah,
Steven
yeah,
Universe.
yeah. Okay, okay, yeah. I was thinking of Ben
Listen,
10, but he had the watch. He had the
no, no,
watch.
no. Listen
Okay,
to the
yeah.
music of Steven Universe. The music was basically made in house. It was done
Okay,
by the same people who produce and write the whole thing, and it was incredible. It's an incredible show to watch for the music. Um, Another show that I think the music was cool was the Ring of Power. You know, the Lord of the Rings, the
okay.
Amazon that apparently bombed. I liked it. A lot of people didn't. I did like the music. I think it was really cool. Let me see. To be honest, there hasn't been too much that caught my attention, like series wise or movie wise recently. Because I haven't seen too many good movies. You know, I mean, I know The Mandalorian has super nice music stuff. But other than that, like I haven't been. I've been most honestly at my TV watching time has been wrestling. So
Okay, there you
I've
go.
been I've been mostly watching. I've been educating myself with a lot of vintage wrestling now because now we have a lot of different media to see it.
Hmm.
Um, which I do understand now why a lot of the older wrestlers say that the younger kids need to work a little bit more. And it's because older wrestling is a little bit more intense. Now we
Oh
have a
yeah,
little bit. Now we have a little bit more moves and more things. But back in the day, it was a show. It was really really entertainment.
oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they used to throw some potatoes back then and stuff, man. They're the ones. I mean, like I'll be a ref and stuff. It's like, are you okay? Can you get up? You good for the 10 count? You all right? I mean, I'll stand right over him. Are you good? Are you good? Make sure the eyes ain't glassed over. I'm like, all right, come on, all right, let's go. The eyes are
Yeah.
glassed over. I'm like, nah, man, nah, I don't think you can go, man. You're about dazed and confused. Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
another,
crazy.
thing,
Yeah.
another thing I want to tell wrestlers before we go, please choose music that is according to your character.
Hmm.
Please, if you're 150 pounds and you're 5'3", don't have music like Vader. Don't have music like
Yeah,
don't make the music that you're intimidating because you're not. Okay,
yeah.
and I'm not bullying the sizes. I'm being realistic. Like I've
Hmm.
had like a 6'4", six guy like 6'4", 5", 300 pounder coming to my studio and asking me to make like a very a fruity EDM song that does not fit the character. I'm like,
Yeah.
like can we go less bubbly, make it a little bit more serious? Like I'm cool with doing EDM. It's just like that one doesn't. It feels more like a stripper song rather
Okay.
than
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
wrestler song. And and
Hmm.
and and they're like, oh, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I don't know, like something epic, something big, something that you feel like, oh my god, like this guy's gonna kill me. Like that's how it should feel. So go accordingly. If you're a character that it's a joke, as a joke, I'm saying like a parody type of character, like
Yeah.
something funny. Go for something funny. Don't put serious music if you're gonna be a goofy character.
Hmm.
Because then people are not gonna take you seriously, and they're not gonna find the comedy behind your character.
That's right. Yeah, I agree with that, man. Yeah, yeah, you definitely can't have that. Like, I can't go up there and be like, yeah, let me get Dan to be Severn's music. You know what I mean? It's like me, I'd be like, yeah, remix Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or something. You know what I mean? Something cool like that. I'll be out there, like be like Ty Awesome, like my boy out there.
Like imagine like Brock Lesnar, but with like the Shawn Michaels music.
Mm.
You know,
Yes. Oh man,
exact
him coming out doing the dance too.
exactly.
Oh, oh, Oh my lord.
Exactly. So that's
Maybe
why
in a
we.
parallel universe.
Mhm.
Like a Jet Li to one. Maybe in a parallel universe like Jet Li to one, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
oh man, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that, man. So yeah, now before I pass it on to Remy, I do want to say, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on and chat with us, man. I had a blast. I wish you
Thank
nothing but
you.
the best in all your future projects, man. I hope you achieve all your dreams and do everything you set out to do. And I'm sending positive vibes your way and all that, man. Hopefully you can do it. So yeah, hopefully keep on kicking butt, man.
Thank you so much.
Isra, thank you very much for, appearing on our show and shooting the breeze about pro wrestling. We've been looking for more entrance theme engineers to have on here. And we're glad we found you. I know of another guy actually. I believe his name is Blitz on Twitter. I don't know if you're on Twitter, but he goes by the name of Blitz as well. But I just want to say, if nobody has thanked you before, you're gonna hear it for the first time from us, or if you've been thanked before for your work, you're probably going to hear it from us for the thousandth, maybe millionth time. But thank you for all the work that you've done for the professional wrestling industry, and also the work that you continue to do. And also thank you in advance for the work that we know, the great work that we know you're going to continue to give us as well too. And we wish you nothing but the absolute best in your career. We hope you actually get to make all your goals, and best believe we will be rooting for you. And when we see, that headline, WWE, hires uh, producer, world renowned producer Isra Batista, because you're gonna go world renowned regardless. It's gonna happen. You're already making way with Japan. It's gonna happen. When we see that headline, we will definitely be cheering you on. We will definitely be cheering. We will definitely we'll be definitely be saying, yes, he made it, he did it. Because one thing we like to see here happen here is people work hard and get paid for it, get rewarded for it. So we wish you all the best as well. And before we shut this show down, where can fans find you on social media? Matter of fact, not just fans. Where can fans find you on social media? Let's say if they decide to get some inspiration and get into the same business, and they're looking to, get some advice from you. If you're open to that, I don't know. I know you're a
Yeah.
busy man. And
Yeah. They
where
can.
can where,
They
where
can
can
just go to.
wrestlers? Okay, good.
wrestlingsongs.com. That's it.
Okay, awesome.
Wrestlingsongs.com.
So for those of y'all that heard, WrestlingSongs.com, check it out. If you are a pro wrestler, and I know for the 100th time, y'all gonna say, Remy, you don't know nothing. You're a fan. You're not in the business. I'm telling you. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. I'm just suggesting. I'm not your daddy's. I'm not your cousin. Whatever. If you don't want to have to deal with the embarrassment of being muted when you go out to the ring to face your opponent, if you don't want to put the company that you work for through that embarrassment of them having part of their show muted, and the viewers at home that are watching, streaming that event can't hear the crowd's reaction to you, if you want to avoid that, hit up Isra and, get your song, get your own independent song. Yes, you might have to spend money. So what? A big deal. It's an investment in you. And at the end of the day, it's all about you. So definitely hit up this man and see what he's got to offer. And then, go on and keep on being great in professional wrestling as well, too. Trust me. It's definitely gonna be worth it. But with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. By the way, the name of the group was the Ronettes. Ronnie Spector. That was her group, Ronettes. "Be My Baby" was their most popular song. But yes, with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyes are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner, WWE Raw, and a nap. Maybe not in that order. But before I partake in those activities, Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, and Tommy to my Ghost. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, purchase Rob Bass merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
All right, you can find me on formerly Twitter, X, and Instagram at Rob_Base82, Facebook Rob Base. You can catch me on DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. 1CW has our wrestling, wrestling every Saturday morning. If you don't have Delmarva Sports Network on Comcast, wherever you're not in the Delmarva, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area, we're online. You can go on and download the app Delmarva Sports Network. That we got past shows, all that, so you can always catch up. And then August 19th, we're going to be in Milford, Delaware for an outdoor show. I think it's TV taping or whatever. So definitely stay tuned. We don't have the matchups set for that yet. So definitely stay tuned. I'll let you know.
Awesome. And if you want to find me out, so matter of fact, make sure you check out 1CW. They're doing a lot of great things, a lot of impressive men and women there. Trust me, you will not be bored if you actually attend one of their shows. And they'll actually be in Philadelphia next year for WrestleMania 40. So Philadelphia, big city, check them out. So if you want to find me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but I do go to, some cool places every now and then. You can definitely find me on Twitter, well, X now, and Instagram at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue as well. You can also find our podcast on social media or on Twitter and Instagram, well, X and Instagram at Ringside Society. We're also on Threads, which is actually another part of Instagram. It's kind of like Twitter, well, X. At Ringside Society for that one as well too. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're also on Facebook as a Facebook group. We're on Spotify. We're also on Teespring, where we sell we also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have T-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, sweatshirts, even coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage. We're going to be dropping our Miami Life Edition shirt tonight. Watch out for it. It's this one is pretty much a shout out to all our fellow Miami Florida based fans as well too. And last but not least, we have a YouTube channel where you can actually see cool interviews like this one, like the the interview that we had with Squirt LaFleur, who was actually our first entrance team engineer that we interviewed. Many great men and women in professional wrestling. All you gotta do is go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society, and once you see that really beautiful dark blue and light blue yin yang sound, the blue flames around it, that's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up and you don't want to miss a thing, like Aerosmith in 1998. As a matter of fact, I'm feeling so nice right now. It's getting cool. It's Monday night. Wrestling's gonna be great tonight. Raw Base, should I hit him with it? Should I tell him who we're gonna have tomorrow?
Yes, you can. Let's go.
Matter of fact, you are the one responsible for this. I give credit. You are the one responsible for our guest tonight. I'm going to let you announce it.
All right. Tomorrow we have the 1CW Women's Champion, and she is dominating all over up and down the East Coast. You've probably seen her on TV and everywhere you go, but it's Daddy herself, Adriana Mosley. We got her coming on tomorrow.
That's right. The 1CW Women's Champ, Adriana Mosley, or is Adriana? I don't know. Adriana. Okay, good. Thanks. I'm not trying to get beat up, man. That woman looks vicious. Anyways, Adriana Mosley is going to be on our show tomorrow. 1CW Women's Champ, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock p.m. for my West Coast riders. For my people in the middle, that's going to be 6 o'clock. And for all my mountain dwellers, that's going to be, 5 o'clock. I ain't forget about y'all either. But definitely make sure you stay tuned because that's going to be another interesting interview as well. And with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in live tonight. Thank you very much. We really and truly appreciate you tuning in to check out what we got going on. To those of you and we also strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could, should, and would listen to, and we're not going to stop doing that. To those of y'all that are going to listen later on, we get a chance. Thank you very much in advance. And to those of you that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we would just stop what we're doing and go away. Well, like myself at the Gordon Corral and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. With that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well and aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. So with that being said, hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for Isra Batista and his brilliant work in entrance themes for pro wrestling. Woo! What type of podcast are we?
We're Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. We'll be back tomorrow. You already know who our guest is, so it's going to be 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But until then, we just have 4 favors for y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.